Welcome back to Crawford-Clark Close-Up. For the final Christmas film review this year, we're going back a decade to explore Robert Zemeckis' second motion capture Christmas film of the decade, following the divided reception afforded 2004's The Polar Express. Zemeckis felt that the time was right with the advent of new technology to adapt Charles Dickens' 1843 novella in the way that Dickens would have originally seen his story play out. The movie starts as it means to go on, with the opening titles vista through the streets and air, accompanied by returning composer Alan Silvestri's sublime orchestration of Andrea Bocelli's God Bless Us Everyone, getting us all in the festive feels. It's clear from the first frame of Scrooge inspecting Jacob Marley's body in the coffin that the animation is going to be stellar. Not a detail has been left to chance. Every little wrinkle on Scrooge's face is under the microscope. There's even a portrait of Dickens himself hanging in the Cratchit household. I had my reservations before approaching Zemeckis' take on the beloved Dickens classic, primarily because there have been countless adaptations of it in the past, both good and bad. So where would this version fall? Plus the fact that this would be fully computer-generated, utilising motion capture animation of the voice artists behind the characters. But I needn't have worried. This is a fine adaptation of Dickens' work. The film is full of heart and soul, and the characterisation in the animation is first-rate. At its heart, Christmas Carol is one of Dickens' most thought-provoking and dark novellas. A man who is so devoid of human emotion, a man without a care for others, a man for whom love and companionship mean nothing, who is going to be shown the error of his ways. A Christmas Carol has resonated with audiences young and old over its many screen incarnations, and continues to get readers delving back into Dickens' rich prose, because this is a story that speaks to us all. We can all get a little miserly and forgetful about helping others as well as ourselves, and Christmas time, the time of goodwill to all, is the perfect setting for such a deep look into the psyche of a lonely man who has shut out the world and any sense of joy around him. Ebenezer Scrooge goes on a journey, from saying farewell to his working partner Jacob Marley to having to accept that he will be taken on a journey of discovery by three apparitions who in turn represent his past memories, the present, and a potentially bleak future unless Ebenezer decides to rectify his mistakes. The gorgeous animation aside, the bare bones of the story are already in place and are timeless. Zemeckis and the crew assembled a sensational cast for this retelling of a classic. Jim Carrey, though a polarising actor, is terrific, hamming up the screen at times as the jolly ghost of Christmas Present, yet equally unnerving younger audiences with his interpretation of the Grim Reaper, who embodies the spirit of Christmas yet to come. His Scrooge, whilst not the best incarnation of the many to date, is still painstakingly nuanced. To utilise Carrey's talent for so many characters in the film is a risk, but it ultimately paid off. On close inspection of the film, the transformation of Carey's facial features into the character almost make you forget you're watching animation. The best sequences in the film relate, of course, to the plight of Bob Cratchit and his family, played effortlessly here by Gary Oldman. The sequence where Cratchit is a lost man, unable to support his family financially, and having lost his youngest son, is a heartbreaking sequence, made all the more so for the fact that it's animated, yet feels so authentic. As Scrooge begins to feel for Cratchit, the film really finds its feet. There are a great number of great additions to the voice cast on top of Carey and Oldman. The late Bob Hoskins is a delight as merry old Fezziwig. Leslie Manville gives everything she's got to the struggling Mrs. Cratchit, and Colin Firth's features are so realistically brought to life in the guise of Scrooge's nephew Fred. To think, Back to the Future legends Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd were also initially lined up as members of the voice cast for this film. The Ghost of Marley sequence is the grimmest in the film and could be seen as the stuff of nightmares for younger viewers, yet it captures the darkness of Dickens' novella well. The 3D works in the film's favour, with plenty of vibrancy and eye-popping visuals, including the flying scenes with the Ghost of Christmas Past, and equal screen time is given to the dissection of Scrooge's past, present, and possible future. Scrooge with the Ghost of Christmas Present and the music swelling with Hark the Herald Angels Sing is a beautifully animated sequence and another highlight of the film. Though the Grim Reaper is an interesting interpretation of the ghost of Christmas yet to come, this last apparition sequence is the weakest of the three we get. It's very busy and relies too heavily on gimmicks and effects to show off the 3D, where there was at least a little more subtlety earlier in the story. As already hinted, the score is another key ingredient of this film. It's not a musical in the vein of the Muppets 1992 version, but Alan Silvestri's score for the film is one of his best from the last decade. It transports you through the flying scenes and touches your heart in the more contemplative moments. Andrea Bocelli's God Bless Us Everyone, through which the core melodies in the film permeate, is like the finishing touch of the star atop the Christmas tree. Magical. Much like the design of the Polar Express, A Christmas Carol is simultaneously an unnerving yet engaging adaptation of Dickens' story that maintains enough of the Christmas spirit and morality of the tale to impress even the purest of Dickens appreciators. Despite this being quite a dark entry in the annals of Christmas Carol adaptations, the film is a delight and in our minds has become a new festive favourite. From Crawford-Clark Close-Up.
Alrighty then.
What are your thoughts on A Christmas Carol? How well do you think this version sits amongst the other tellings of Dickens' classic story? Share your opinions in the comments, and if you enjoyed this review, please subscribe to us at the top of the page. Come and find Crawford-Clark Close-Up on Facebook and Twitter, and you can drop us an email with suggestions for future reviews on the channel to crawfordclarkcloseup@gmail.com. All that's left for us to say is we hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a happy start to 2020. To round out 2019, keep an eye out for a ranking of the 10 best Gavin and Stacey episodes as the show is returning to TV screens this Christmas Day, and coming soon we'll be ranking all the Star Wars movies to date, including giving our thoughts on the newly released 9th chapter, The Rise of Skywalker. Thanks for watching, and until next time, that's a wrap.